Welcome back to the lineup here on Radio DePaul, Chicago's College Connection. Tom, a lot of new food at U.S. Cellular Field. Are you down for bacon on a stick?
I'm not a big bacon fan, but I'm sure that's going to be a huge hit because it seems like everyone else is. So I'm sure that'll be a big hit.
Waffle chicken sandwich, and that's including syrup on the top of the waffles.
Now that sounds right in my wheelhouse. I love chicken and waffles, and I'd love to try a waffle chicken sandwich with syrup on the waffles.
There's a lot more, and we're going to talk to Jon Greenberg of ESPNChicago.com. John, first I just want to bring up, I'm so excited that DiGiorno's Pizza is gone for Beggar's Pizza.
Oh, DiGiorno. I mean, what? Who gets? I mean, microwaved your frozen pizza is like the last refuge, right? Like if you're snowed in and you have no money, and you go by, because I mean, pretty much everyone lives by a place you can get a slice of pizza or a delivered pizza. So I mean, to get DiGiorno's, that's ridiculous, especially for the prices they charge. Beggar's is pretty good. Have you guys had it before? I had never had it.
I've had it a couple times.
Yeah, I've had it a couple times too. It's pretty good.
It's good. I thought D'Agostino's at Wrigley, I thought, was kind of a gold standard last year because that's a really good pizza, and they cook it there. And, of course, they replaced that because they got a bigger deal with Giordano's. But, so Beggar's Pizza was good. I'm not a real adventurous eater at the ballpark, so it was good for me yesterday.
We're excited to have some Beggar's Pizza, but first, the White Sox winner yesterday turns into the same White Sox team that we saw in 2013 today. Just the defense behind Jose Quintana. John, what did you see yesterday that was so impressive about the Sox? Maybe pitching and defense and offense that just come and falling apart as the Twins are at 5-1 in the top of the fifth.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I saw anything really that impressive yesterday. I mean, it was
that hurts.
They beat the Twins, did they beat the Twins yesterday?
Yes.
Okay, because I left early, so I'm a
It was a cold day.
Since I was just writing about the food and the ambiance, I kind of took off a little early. But one thing I'll tell you I really liked, I'm sitting in left field seats enjoying the sunshine with my winter coat on and drinking a Revolution anti-hero. That was just for journalism reasons. Don't usually drink at games. But the sound off Jose Abreu's bat. Now, that's a cliche a lot of reporters like to use when you get a big power hitter comes in and everyone talks about this distinctive sound. It's one of the things I kind of think is probably a little bit of cliche, to use a term BS. But, man, it is true with Jose Abreu. He knocked a single out. He hit a single when I was there, and it was like a cannon. I mean, this guy is going to murder some pitches. I mean, he intentionally walked twice yesterday? I think 3 times total so far. So, I mean, he is a big boy, and literally the sound was something different. I'm really interested to see how he plays and see how he hits. And, I like what the White Sox did, in adding these guys. I just don't think they have enough to be anything more than 80 wins, I think, would be a nice season for them, 82 wins, because they still have a lot of holes in this team.
Yeah, Eli went from pumping his fist to you talking about Jose Abreu to shaking his head when you said not more than 82 wins. But I tend to agree with you on that. I think they've got some bright spots on this team, but in the end, that's a tough division to compete in with the Tigers and Royals. I just don't know if they'll have enough. But looking at the other Chicago team, the North Side team, the Cubs got their first win of the season today, and sadly, this game didn't go to extra innings like the previous two. But what have you seen from the Cubs and the Pirates over these first 3 games? Obviously, there hasn't been a ton of offense, and the pitching's look pretty good, but still early in the season. But what are your thoughts so far?
Yeah, I think pitching's something to look at. It hasn't been a bullpen. Obviously they blew a save. I blew a save yesterday, and the bullpen got the loss in the first game, but it was Carlos Villanueva getting the loss. He was the starter, but. It's definitely better. It's not a disaster waiting to happen just yet. I like the addition of Brian Schlitter, actually, a guy I know his agent pretty well, and he's a guy that really wants it and he wants back. And his first short stint in Chicago, he was a little immature, and it's a pretty good testament because I think he had Tommy John, and he, to earn a spot that late in spring training is kind of cool. And it's kind of cool. He looks like Jesus too. He makes Samardzija and Russell look like narcs.
Yeah.
With his style. But yeah, I like the bullpen right now. I think the pitching's going to be all right. It's going to be all right if Samardzija sticks around and they get that depth. It's going to be tough scoring runs. We knew that. That's not a surprise. It's a good sign that Oltz homered and Rizzo's homered. In the first 3 games, I think it's a very good sign. But they're going to have trouble scoring runs. I think Castro's got to. You got to give Castro the benefit of the doubt for a couple weeks, no matter what they say, because he was gone for spring training. And I'm not a guy that just likes to give excuses, but that's true. I mean, that's just realistic. You got to give a guy a little time to acclimate and things like that, And Castro's a guy I like, and I hope he gets on track. He's very talented, So you hope that happens. But again, they just don't have enough. We've become accustomed here in Chicago to almost, I don't want to say making excuses for guys, but our expectations are low for major market teams, right? I mean, the Cubs have purposely lowered our expectations. Now it's just no one talks about anything but the farm system, and that's fine. That's realistic, but you can't get more lower expectations, I think, the Cubs have for this team this year because no one expects anything.
John, the new slogan for the Chicago White Sox is together. They have "We stand together, we play together." I don't know what the new slogan for the Cubs is, but maybe they should start getting some offensive production with that. Looking at the article you had written earlier this week, Alan Reddy excited to help the Bears win. Do you think Phil Emery is just a genius right now, getting his defensive players so far? Jared Allen, Young on the defensive line, a bunch of other guys, the guy from Oakland as well who can rush the passer. So are you looking at Phil Emery right now to say, now what do we do next? Or are you okay with the signings?
Yeah, I think Bears fans should be okay, and I think he's done a pretty good job. It's a good start, right? I mean, at the very least, it's a good start. Now, we have to see how he drafts. You can't have another Shea McClellan situation where you draft a guy who's not ready to play, and you're kind of wishing. I think he liked Shea and he liked his athleticism. I think he kind of, maybe was a little presumptuous to think he could turn into a defensive end. It was just it's falling in love with the guy. Now, Phil Emery's a pretty bright guy. He works extremely hard, so I think he's probably learned his lesson a little bit about that. And he basically admitted, instead of pinning it on Shea, because they want Shea, because they're keeping Shea, they took the blame. He took the blame on himself for putting him in a position he wasn't really capable of filling in the NFL. So I think he's learned his lesson a little bit on that. I would be surprised if he doesn't draft a defensive back early. Maybe not the first round. Maybe he drafts a defensive tackle to keep, to make the rotation even healthier. But he's going to have to he's got to go secondary. You got to go safety. You need some safety help. Ryan Mundy isn't expected to be like any kind of star. And some people think maybe even another corner. Tillman and Jennings aren't going to be here forever. So that's something to look for. But I think the way he's attacked this defense in one season and the offense in the first two seasons, if I was a Bears fan, I'd be pretty happy about it. They didn't make the playoffs last year, but and he's kind of looking to rectify that very quickly. I think he's got pretty high expectations for himself and high expectations for this team. So, this is an offense built to win now. Not like there's no rebuild. That's why I thought the people talking about not re-signing Cutler are nuts, because the offense is built around Cutler to win right now, and I think the moves Emery's made are making this possible.
Yeah, you brought up, Emery's got to draft a little better. I still think he has a few more chances till he enters Jerry Angelo territory. But you mentioned Cutler and this Bears offense, and I think if Emery can improve the defense even slight as much as he's improved this offense, Bears fans should be ecstatic. But looking at Cutler, obviously he has his injury history, and it seems like the Bears' backup quarterback position has been just as important as the starting quarterback position the past couple seasons. With the departure of McCown, do you see maybe Emery going in the late rounds picking up a backup quarterback, or does he trust in Jordan Palmer to be the guy?
Jordan Lynch, maybe?
Possibly Jordan Lynch.
Come on, Jordan Lynch can't play. I mean, let's be honest. He's not going to be a quarterback. Do you watch him throw?
I've seen it a couple of times. It's gross.
I mean, is this a Dan Lefevre part 2? I mean, seriously, he's not going to. Maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully I am wrong, because he seems like a great kid, and I hope he gets in the NFL. How cool is it just to make the NFL? To play any position would be pretty awesome. I don't see Jordan Lynch. I do think they'll draft someone, hopefully more of a, I don't want to say polished passer, but it's someone who can handle it a little more. You don't have to have the local ties or the big, somewhat of a big name. Jordan Lynch had an unbelievable college career. There's nothing. Don't take anything away from that. But yeah, I think they're comfortable with Jordan Palmer, though. Really, maybe drafting a guy to be the third string this year, second string next year. I think they think Jordan Palmer can handle it. After he's a really, really bright guy. I guess he's putting his app building business on hold as he makes hundreds of thousands of dollars. I used to joke last year that he must be the happiest guy in the Bears locker room, because just because of that Cutler injury, he was working on his businesses. He's got some side projects he does, and then he makes a couple $100,000 probably, and he doesn't have to do anything. He just had to memorize the playbook. I mean, what a great life, right, guys? I mean, I would kill for that kind of money. And Jordan Palmer just got it. He's a good dude. He was a good guy to go to for quotes about stuff. He's a good head on his shoulder. He's seen a lot in the league. He's obviously dealing, knowing what his brother's gone through. So I think I'd be fine with Jordan Palmer and drafting a guy late. So we'll see what they do.
John, if you don't mind me asking, are you a Steelers fan since you're a Pirates fan too?
Yes, I am. I don't get a chance to watch as much because I'm covering Bears now. It's kind of a new development since I started ESPN Chicago. I used to not try. When I worked for freelance for the Daily Herald and other places, I would kind of not volunteer for Bears coverage because I wanted to watch Steelers. And now I'm a pretty bad Steelers fan. Almost lapsed. I just don't get to watch. So it's a good thing that the Pirates have rejuvenated themselves, because that gives me one team to root for.
You're gonna have to turn in your terrible towel then.
Yeah, right. I keep the terrible towel. You know what I mean? You keep it around.
Well, John, Tom's a Seahawks fan, so if you just want to take a couple seconds to rub in the 2005 Super Bowl, the Super Bowl 40, you could do so.
Yeah, right. That was great. I was actually at that game as a fan. A buddy of mine's pretty rich, and his parents had an extra ticket, and I got to go for free. And we actually sat in that corner of the end zone where Hines Ward caught the pass. The only one of two exciting plays in that Super Bowl. But listen, you got nothing to be for me to rip on you about.
I was going to say, what have you done for me lately? I think
Seahawks are riding high, man.
Riding very, very high.
John, we'll see if Ben Roethlisberger can deliver another title this season. If not, good luck to the Steelers, and we hope to have you back on soon.
Anytime, guys.
All right, thank you again. That's Jon Greenberg of ESPNChicago.com. Great guest. A lot of good insight and some funny stuff too.
Very fun, very insightful guest, like you said. It's cool. You get the he's covering the Chicago sports, but he's a Pittsburgh sports fan as well. So he must have loved that the Cubs open the season against the Pirates. That way he gets to watch the team he has to cover and his favorite team at the same time.
Jose Abreu giving the Sox some life here. 5-2, a double to right field. He talked about that swing of Jose Abreu. Tom, did you see the swing in the other side of the studios?
I saw the ball trickling down into double, and I wasn't sure if it was I didn't see that it was the bottom of the fifth. I wasn't sure as if the Twins were piling it on, or if the Sox were making a comeback there. But that's great. That's great to hear if you're a White Sox fan. The crack of the bat of Jose Abreu, because this is what he was signed for, and people want to make the Yasiel Puig comparisons or whatever, and don't make those yet. But it's good that he's off to a good start, because people were unsure about him. So.
Paul Konerko is my favorite White Sox of all time.
Real quick, sorry, Dunner just hit a 2-run bomb, 5-4.
And it's 5-4, he is. But Paul Konerko is my favorite baseball player of all time, White Sox, whoever. And the White Sox getting Jose Abreu, you now have a first baseman you can build upon.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's almost like while Paulie's still there too, he can put some knowledge in the kid and help him and stuff.
Jose Abreu hitting the ball to right field, just like Paulie's done the past couple of years, hitting the ball oppo.
Absolutely. And I saw a funny tweet. Paul got his first at bat yesterday of the season, and all 1,000 White Sox fans at the game were standing up cheering for him. So
they were giving the Paul Lee. We're gonna take a break here. When we come back, we're talking Bulls, a big win. And can they compete in the playoffs? We're going to talk about that next here on the lineup on the Radio DePaul, Chicago's College.